Hare Krishna. Today our satsang is Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, 14th and 15th shloka. Here is the translation. Sri Krishna is saying, all living bodies subsist on food grains which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yagna, sacrifice, and yagna is born of prescribed duties. Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in the acts of sacrifice. Tasmat sarvagatam brahman nitya yajna pratishtitam. This means Lord is situated. Where is the Lord? Means Lord is in the sacrifice. Krishna is in the sacrifice. Wherever there is a sacrifice, there is a Krishna. And the total creation is a sacrifice. It is a production of sacrifice. For producing something, you have to sacrifice. Without sacrifice, nothing is possible. Parents sacrifice their lives for the children. Children sacrifice their games for studies. You sacrifice your enjoyment for earnings. Anything which we have to get is the product of sacrifice. In the same manner, if you go higher, upward and higher values, then a MLA has to sacrifice his interest for the people. And above that, Chief Minister is holding big, has to sacrifice so many things for the sake of public. In the same manner, PM has to sacrifice everything for nation. Because this sacrifice is such an element, without that, nothing is possible. And if you go still beyond, you come to the point of the universe, you will see that Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are totally sacrificing their self-interest for the creation, maintenance and annihilation. Tapabala Yog Srushti Kiyat Vidhata means because of sacrifice, Lord created the universe. So sacrifice is the restriction and going beyond the cause and utilizing the fruits for the supreme cause is sacrifice. So Lord Sri Krishna is saying fruits comes from rain, rains come from sacrifice, and sacrifice comes from Vedas, and Vedas are manifested by me. So ultimately all our sacrifices are meant to please the Supreme Lord Krishna. And for this reason, the Lord Krishna, who is situated as Paramatma in all our hearts, is known as Adi Yagna, and a Lord of sacrifice. So try to understand the meaning of sacrifice. Yagna means leaving. Leaving because of our ego which feels that it's its. So among all sacrifice of material possession, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is a greater sacrifice. In the 4th chapter also Lord said, sacrifice made in knowledge is greater than the sacrifice of material possessions. In other way, it is the parameter, sacrifice is the parameter which reduces the index of ego. The more the sacrifice, the more less will be the ego. Because the ego's tendency to enjoy the fruits is minimized by sacrifice. So Lord Sri Krishna here is saying that Lord is eternally situated in the acts of sacrifice. So dear devotees, what I mean to say is, for discussion, is nowadays what we are learning is accumulation and preservation. What we have taught in our whole life since childhood to youth is you have to accumulate wealth and you have to protect it and maintain it. This is the theory of your living life. That is not maintainable if you want to live happily. Because the fruits you have received must be sacrificed for the higher cause, for the gods. And gods being pleased by sacrifice again in turn try to please you with more material benedictions. So this is the cycle of happiness. You should be satisfied with their merciful bestowings, and in turn you should satisfy them by offering material possessions. So this is the cycle Krishna wants you to follow, to live materially happily. And Krishna further says, if you do not follow this cycle of sacrifice, you will certainly lead a life full of sins. Because whatever remains, because sacrifice purifies your karmas. It purifies you also. Because the enjoyment is sacrificed for a higher cause, for satisfaction of the Supreme. That is a yagna. So dear devotees, as we know Krishna is merciful, He has given us so many things in the life, a body, enjoyment, a family, friends. But the same things you must return to Krishna to please Him. Then He will be very pleased. Because these things are given to you by Krishna. It is not your self-acquisition. It is not your self-achievement. And because of ignorance, you might have felt till now that you are gaining it with your efforts. No, it's true. It is the merciful disposition of Lord towards you. And when you realize this, you again in return offers to Him. That is sacrifice. Actually, the word sacrifice is not potent if you discuss it with the relativity with Lord. Because we can't give anything to the Lord because everything is already His. But because of the presumption of our ego, we are feeling it is our own, then you must sacrifice. So in other words, if you sacrifice your ego, then everything is sacrificed. Then sacrifice becomes 100%. Remember it. That's why Lord Sri Krishna says sacrifice in knowledge is better sacrifice than sacrifice of material possessions. Because once our ego is sacrificed, what remains to give it to? Because everything is already His. What we can give to the Lord? Can we show a lamp to the sun? No. So dear devotees, this is important shloka because Krishna is saying that everything that is generated, produced, is the sacrifice. Because some sacrifice has happened behind that. Otherwise things would not have been produced. And the things specially produced for the benefit of the whole universe, not for the destruction. So if you look into this aspect, then you will find that Krishna has sacrificed his own self for us. The whole cosmos is the perverted reflection of Krishna's body. So Krishna has sacrificed his own self for our happiness because we want material happiness. Krishna will never give material happiness. Then he has created these separate worlds. Okay, do karma and enjoy. So he has tormented his own self, separated his own self from him because of us. And now it is our turn to give up everything for the sake of satisfaction of the Krishna. Then the things will work. And thus, satisfying each other, both will regain the prosperity, peace, happiness. This is the formula. If you forget God and depending on karma, create your own wealth, then you will get entangled in it and suffer. So remember this always. Krishna wants you to sacrifice. Yajna. Yajna means sacrifice. And what is the best sacrifice? Among all sacrifices, Krishna says japa. Japa yagna is Krishna. If you chant his name, he is totally satisfied. He is chanting my name. He is depending on my name. He is sheltered to my name. And Krishna, because among all sacrifices, sacrificing food materials, ingredients, grains, may satisfy Krishna after a long period. But yajna means japa yajna. If you chant Lord's name, immediately Krishna is satisfied. Immediately. You need not wait for half an hour. As you are chanting the Lord's name, the divinity, the transcendence ecstasy is dancing on your tongue. That is the beauty of his name. So dear devotees, live life for sacrifice. Little sacrifice creates great value, and that can change your life. So don't live for accumulation and preservations. Live for sacrifice. And that is the yajna. Yajna means sacrifice. Give up all material possessions. Live with Krishna joyfully in transcendental secret. That is Krishna conscious. Thank you and Hare Krishna.